Aside from how ridiculous it was that Rhaenyra got this close to Alicent and spent that amount speaking with her in secret, this was the perfect kind of episode this series needs more of. Relying on flashy scenes to keep casual viewers engaged can only be done so many times. The source material is dialogue and character heavy. The slow chapters always pay off big time eventually. And with next week, episode 4, horrors are supposedly let loose according to the preview trailer. Episode 3 was a big character moment for Rhaenys, her granddaughters, and of course, the big man himself, Daemon. The rogue prince in the show had been leaning very heavily on the irredeemable bad guy role. This episode tries to balance the scale a little. The dream, or vision he had, shows remorse for his chaotic actions. This is his family that he's killing. There's gotta be some inner conflict going on. The scene wasn't any ordinary dream. It's gotten easy to forget how much magic is involved in this world, with everything being done in the shadows for House of the Dragon. This character right here is Alys Rivers. Just from her first stare in the Castle Harrenhal, you know she's important. The Melisandre vibes are strong with this one. Ever since the castle was heavily damaged by Aegon the Conqueror's dragon, rumors have been spreading about a curse lingering in this castle, always coming for whoever rules it. Currently, Lord Larys Strong, Aegon II's Master of Whispers, runs Harrenhal as head of the family, but is keeping his distance from his childhood home. His great uncle, Simon Strong, is looking over things as Castellan, but has no love for Larys, aware he was likely involved in the castle fire that killed Lord Lionel and Harwin Strong. Though large parts of Harren's Great Folly were in ruins, the castle's towering curtain walls still made it as formidable a stronghold as any in the Riverlands. But Aegon the Dragon had proved it vulnerable from the sky. In addition to the castle, Prince Daemon at a stroke had captured the not inconsiderable wealth of House Strong and a dozen valuable hostages, amongst them Sir Simon and his grandsons. The castle's small folk became his captives as well. Amongst them a wet nurse named Alys Rivers. Who was this woman? A serving wench who dabbled in potions and spells, says Munkin. A woods witch, claims Septon Eustace. A malign enchantress who bathed in the blood of virgins to preserve her youth, Mushroom would have us believe. Her name suggests bastard birth, but we know little of her father and less of her mother. Munkin and Eustace tell us she was sired by Lord Lionel Strong in his callow youth, making her a natural half-sister to his sons, Harwin and Larys. But Mushroom insists that she was much older, that she was wet nurse to both boys, perhaps even their father a generation earlier. Though her own children had been stillborn, the milk flowed so abundantly from the breast of Alys Rivers had nourished countless babes born of other women at Harrenhal. Was she in truth a witch who lay with demons bringing forth dead children as payment for the knowledge they gave her? Was she a simple-minded slattern, as Eustace believes, a wanton who used her poisons and potions to bind men to her body and soul? Alys Rivers was at least 40 years of age during the Dance of the Dragon, that much is known. Mushroom makes her even older. All agreed that she looked younger than her years, but whether this was simple happenstance or achieved through her practice of dark arts, men continued to dispute. Whatever her powers, it would seem Daemon was immune to them, for little is heard of this supposed sorceress whilst the prince held Harrenhal. This episode of House of the Dragon gives us a new perspective from Daemon and Alys Rivers themselves. And clearly, Daemon is nowhere near immune to her power and influence. Daemon was too paranoid about the food being poisoned, but maybe Alys was able to slip something in his drink to bring on visions. Some characters believe Alys can get a glimpse of the future by looking into the fires, water, and clouds, being able to see much and more. There seems to be some connection with the weirwood tree in the castle's godswood, so she uses magic tied to the old gods, fortified by the fact that House Strong descend from first men, who like men in the north historically worshipped the old gods through these creepy trees. A young version of Daemon's wife Rhaenyra is shown to him with some symbolism, trying to fix a major problem he caused for her. I think having young Rhaenyra in the vision was a nice touch, just shows how long he's been at it, never cleaning up his act. She says, always coming and going, aren't you, and I have to clean up afterwards. While Rhaenyra and her Black Council anxiously await word from his mission to take Harrenhal, no ravens have been sent to them, even with them being so close to another. This would be a good chance for a little character development, so we'll see his reaction to the vision and what it does to him next week, as well as Alys's proclamation that he will die in this place. We know he doesn't tolerate any threats, but also has a fascination with higher powers. Obviously, one of these magical moments are more interesting than the other, but it was mostly a quiet prophetic vision, very Season 2 Game of Thrones-esque, with Dany's visions in the House of the Undying. This relationship between Daemon and Alys is new territory, and I'm loving what I see. It was always a strange line in Fire and Blood that little was heard of her when Daemon held Harrenhal. She's ominous and fearless to confront and mess with the rogue prince, when bastards' lives are so easily thrown away. A great intro for an interesting character.